Hi everyone. So we already talked about consumer surplus, and you notice that consumer surplus actually deals with the demand side. Now we are going to look into the suppliers side. So we are going to talk about producer surplus. So the producer surplus is the difference of the amount a seller received from selling the good and the cost of producing that good. So the difference, that means the cost of producing, so the amount a seller received minus the cost of producing that good. So producer surplus can also be measured using the supply curve, whereas we have shown we have showed that how we use demand curve to illustrate the consumer surplus. So producer surplus shows the benefits received by the sellers or suppliers or producers. Here, these are the same things. Now, willingness to sell. So the minimum amount the seller would be willing to sell the good at. So, and actually willingness to sell measures the cost associated with the producing the good or service. So let's say your cost of producing one good is 20 taka. This was the cost. Do you think you will uh, sell that product anything less than 20? I don't think so, because at least you have to make sure that you earn that amount of money that would sort of cover your cost, right? Now, how do we calculate producer surplus? It's very similar to the consumer surplus one. So producer surplus equals to amount received minus willingness to sell. So cost or willingness to sell is the same thing here. Now look at this example. You would not sell a soft beverage, let's say Coke, less than 12 taka. So you sold a bottle at 15 taka in the market. How much would be the producer surplus? So what is your cost of WTS? Its WTS is 12, and you sold the amount received is 15. So your producer surplus, sorry, this would be PS. So producer surplus would be 15 minus 12, 3 taka. So just like consumer surplus, we can use graphical representation to understand this concept, to learn how to measure the producer surplus. So using supply curve, we can measure the producer surplus, and now the area under the received price, the amount received, let's say, and above the minimum price, that is your WTS, depicts your PS, depicts your producer surplus. So look at this example. This would help you to understand the concept graphically. So here, this is your supply curve, right? Because now we are talking about producer surplus, so supply curve. Now, the amount you receive, or let's say the amount the product is being sold at the market currently is 8 taka. Now, this is your WTS, or the the cost price. Now, using the same formula, we can calculate the producer surplus. This would be producer surplus, and it would be half multiplied by change in price. Here it should be 8 minus 5. So half multiplied by 8 minus 5 multiplied by the quantity supplied, which is 5. So 5. And this should be half multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. Should be 7.5, right? 15 divided by 2, 7.5. So this is your producer surplus. So this is your producer surplus, or this is actually not only yours. So remember, in the market there are many suppliers, so just not you. In the market currently, the producer surplus is 7.5. So I don't think it should be wise to say that it is just your surplus. It is a surplus of all the producers, of all the suppliers currently in the market. Now Now, suppose the price for some reason increases. The price increases in the market. Now, remember from the law of supply that if the price increases, there will be higher quantity supply, because we have already discussed about the positive relationship between the price and the suppliers. So now you can expect more suppliers to enter the market because the price level is higher. So now it's at 10 taka. So probably there will be few suppliers who'd who'd enter the market and participate in the market to sell their goods as well. So here, what would be the new price? Sorry, the new producer surplus? It should be this triangle, this area. That. So how do you calculate this? Let's say now it's at 10, right? So it should be half multiplied by 10 multiplied by the quantity supply is 15 now. So it's 15. This should be 5 multiplied by 15, and this should be 75, right? So this is the producer surplus when the price is at 10 taka and the quantity supply is 15. So what about additional producer surplus to the old sellers? That is, now because of this price change, we know that the producers, the old producers, can sell more. I mean, sorry, they can actually earn more by selling the same quantity they used to. So that is, when the price was at 8 taka, they used to sell their goods at 5 taka. So they used to sell 5 units of their goods. Now they can sell the same amount of good at 10 taka. So this will give you an additional producer surplus. So that this rectangular area actually gives you the additional producer surplus to the old sellers. How can you calculate this? Change in market price multiplied the quantity supplied of old suppliers. So number 2 would be 10 minus 8 multiplied by 5, because this was the old quantity. So which is 20. Now what about 3? Producer surplus to the new sailors. So the producer surplus of new sailors, it should be just new sailors, is this bit, this triangle part, this triangle area. So because they are the new sellers and these represent the producer surplus of new sellers, and the P to as the price increases from 8 to 10, the quantity supplied increases from 5 to 15. The way we calculate this is 10, sorry, half multiplied by 10 minus 8 multiplied by 15 minus 5. So we are looking into this part only. Okay. So this is half multiplied by 2 multiplied by 10, which should be 10, right? So the producer surplus of new sailors is equal to 10. So remember this, that producer surplus actually talks about the benefits of the suppliers end. So this is also equally important, because if you are policymakers, you need to keep in mind about the producer surplus side as well, and how you want to establish a society where everyone is benefited, and you want to make sure that the like fair transaction, or let's say there is a fair trade-off between all the stakeholders. So this is important to take into account the concept of consumer surplus and as well as concept of producer surplus. So cause this is actually social welfare and also efficiency.